All right. Hello, hello, and welcome to this month's self care social. I am so honored and excited to be here before you all, as always. And before we get started, we always like to just open up with a word of prayer and then go into our discussion. Again, I am Sierra Hilaire, your self care strategist and the founder of Divine Potential Services, Inc. And basically, our mission is to restore families and empower change. And so I am inspired to present monthly self care socials to help you just realign, refocus, and restore things that are out of alignment potentially in our lives. And so I'll share a little bit more about that. But first, we'll just open up in prayer. So, Father, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for who you are in our lives. God, we thank you for your grace and mercy. You have been so faithful to us, Lord God, in and out of season. And we just simply thank you today, Father. I lift up today's speaker, Dr. Vanessa Walker, before you, God. I thank you for giving her the courage and the wisdom, God, to continue moving forward in the plans and purposes that you have for her life. Father, I thank you for the listeners, the viewers that are going to catch this program. Father, I thank you for opening their hearts and their minds to think differently, to see life differently, to take their care to another level in this season. God, we thank you for this time. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your kindness and compassion towards us, oh God. We just bless you right now. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Amen. And so, as I was mentioned earlier, self care socials basically are monthly meetups to receive expert advice from holistic health and wellness professionals to prioritize your self care. Our goal is to enlighten, energize, and educate women and men with the tools, strategies, and resources needed on their road to restoration. And so, with all of that being said, again, I am so excited and honored to have with us today Dr. Vanessa Walker. I will allow her to just share with you all more about who she is and what she does before we get into today's topic, getting your spine aligned. Trust me, y'all do not want to miss this. Stay to the end. Welcome, Dr. Vanessa.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And also, thank you for having this space. Sometimes we don't really think how much self-care is needed in our life for us to go on our journey, right? I always say your health is your wealth. So if you're not taking care of yourself, then how do you get to take care of others? So thank you so much for having us.
I know that's right. Listen, I have made a commitment to myself to no longer pour from an empty cup. And as
Yes.
I, take better care of myself, like you said, I just want to bring others on that journey. And so, you know, as we go into our topic again of getting our spines aligned, my question to you is what inspired you to go into the field of chiropractic care and all of the other amazing things that you do?
Absolutely. So I'm going to be real transparent and just like down to earth with y'all today. I always say that chiropractic chose me. And what do I mean by
Wow.
that? Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you just a tidbit about who I am and just like real background. So take it all the way back to when I was younger. My mom's a registered nurse, and I just love the idea of how she was helping people. So I was in that space of like, desiring healthcare, and just kind of learn behavior. What you see is what you desire to do.
Wow.
So with her being that, I just had this thing in my head that I want to be a doctor, and really didn't know what that mean or how to get to that. But when you're a little girl, you're like, oh, okay, I want to be a doctor. So it
Right.
was that desire as a child to know that I wanted to help people. I liked the result of seeing people being taken care of. So my family's from Jamaica. We migrated from Jamaica here to the United States. And when we got to the United States, it was a matter of matriculating through school of okay, my family don't know how to maneuver this, but this is what's supposed to happen. So when I was in a middle school, I was told that if you want to be a doctor, you need to go to the specific high school because it's a medical magnet high school, and that's where the doctors produce from, right? So I went to Stranahan High School just because of hearing that. Yeah. So I went to Stranahan, and after going to Stranahan, just kind of got through that program. I went to, I did a summer program where they took us to University of South Florida. I was like, okay, I like this school. So when it came back to deciding where to go to college, I went to the school that I went to a tour on. So I went through there, and in that being said, on my first semester of being in school, I got a teacher who, well, this class and the teacher, it's called University Experience, and she told us to go in the telephone book, find the person, well, not go in the telephone book, find someone who is in the profession that you desire to be in.
Okay.
And I was 17 years old. I wanted to be a doctor at that time, more specifically a sports physician. I didn't know where to find somebody in Tampa because I already bamboozled my parents to send me to Tampa without knowing anyone, right? So I get into the telephone book, find a sports physician. When I got to his office, he answered all my questions for my homework assignment and told me that he was a chiropractor. And I was like, well, okay, I don't know what that is, but okay, cool. I got my assignment done. You're good. I'm good. I appreciate you having me be here. But that was that. And I did the old school thing that our parents tell us to do, or our guardians or the loved ones in our space tell us to do. And I sent him a thank you note. And with that thank you note, he offered me a job. Right. So 17 years old, I'm in a chiropractor's office working as a chiropractic assistant and just going through that space. Love taking care of people. I absolutely love what he was doing. Wow. He loved his patients. His patients loved him. He looked like he just loved his job. And I was like, I really like this. Right. So even in that space, it wasn't a specific of me saying chiropractic was my thing. I still just wanted to be a doctor. But I went to a summer program, shadowed every doctor that I desired to be. I was on a scholarship for a summer. Wow. And just kind of, I was like, I really, really love what I was doing. We were taking care of athletes. We were taking care of baby. So I was like, this just blend in that space. And he was a happy doctor, right? Wow. He wasn't a stressed out doctor. Wow. He was like, I got to do all these hours and I just really grew attached to that. So I came home and kind of shared with him, I'm going to go to chiropractic school. And that's why I said chiropractic chose me, right? Wow. Yeah. That desire and that love for people and seeing what was transforming in the office is how I just said chiropractic chose me.
Wow, yeah. Wow. You said two things that I just want to highlight. The first one was that you Jamaican. Girl, yes. I see why we connected. I see why I was led to you. My father is actually Jamaican. So
okay.
One time for that culture.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. And then the second thing was that you sent a thank you note. You know, yes. I've always been taught that honor unlocks favor. It unlocks blessings. Just that simple act. That is a strategy. Y'all better catch that.
No, it is. Absolutely
act
is.
Open a door that literally changed your life.
Yes. And I wasn't looking for a job at the time. My parents said to me, it's your first semester of school. You're in a town that you don't know. Just kind of breeze through, just kind of do school and not be it, and you didn't have to work for that first semester. So yeah, it was a thank you note that literally unlocked the door to my career and the success that it is today. Wow. Literally. I didn't know what a chiropractor was at the time.
That is an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that. And so to get into our topic in terms of getting our spine aligned, and honestly, from my own personal experience, that's what inspired me to even talk about this topic, because years ago, I was on a job and I got injured. I was in a daycare and I had a baby on one side and something fell. And I remember just bending over to pick it up with the baby on my hip. And all I heard was a click.
That disc.
But the sad truth about my story is that at that moment in my life, I was in such a state of survival. I did not even have a moment to process what happened, to take time off. And so I just kept going.
Yeah.
knowing that my body was changing, I was in pain, but didn't have the solution, thinking that it'll just heal and
Go, yep, or go
right,
away.
I could just move on with my life. And as a result of that, years later, I began to suffer with very bad back pain, hip pain. I mean, it was so bad. I always say jokingly, but I'm serious, that I felt like my body was tangled up. Like
Yeah.
one leg was longer than the other. It was just a mess. I
Yeah.
suffered for many, many years. And so we were at a particular church at the time. And my husband was like, listen, we need to pray for my wife. She needs some help. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we had 3 young children at the time. I could not keep up. It drained my energy. I
Yeah.
was, you know, gaining weight. I was just not myself
Yeah.
anymore. And so our pastor said, well, maybe she needs to go to the chiropractor, right? Just that one nugget. And he referred us to his chiropractor. So long story short, I started going, but insurance didn't pay at the time. I was paying out of my pocket. So I had to go as
Yeah.
I could afford.
Yeah.
So instead of going through an entire program to get therapy, I did adjustments here and there that kind of relieved temporary, but never
Yeah.
really corrected
Problem.
the problem. And so as a result, I continued to suffer years and years and years. And that's kind of how I'm here today, even having this conversation with you. So when we talk about getting our spine aligned, what does that even mean and why is it important?
Absolutely. So let's just tap into your story a bit, right? So the body being in a misalignment through chiropractic, that usually come in 3 forms. It's thoughts, trauma, or toxin, right? So for you, it was trauma. The body went through some form of trauma, and our body is so intelligent, it's going to heal itself, right? So us as chiropractor, we are kind of in the space of helping the body to heal itself. Literally, we're helping the body to heal itself. If you got a cut today and you decided not to do anything with that cut, will it heal? Yes, it's going to heal, but it's probably going to heal a little bit different if you decide to put a Band-Aid on it or put some Neosporin on it or do something to aid it along the way. So the body is so intelligent that it will heal, right? But then it's going to heal incorrectly, just as if you didn't do anything with that cut. You get adhesions, you get scar tissue around the area. So ideally, that's a form of when you're going through that injury. So now with the 3 focus in chiropractic, it's the thoughts, the trauma, and the toxin, right? And now we say technology because it's so much of it, we're hunched over this way. That allows, with the thoughts, the traumas, and toxin, allows ligaments, tissue, tendons to start to change. You get your vertebrae that goes out of place, right? So what's the vertebrae? In our spine, we got bones stacked on each other, bone after bone. We have it in our neck, we have it in our mid back, and we have it in our low back. So it's an indication, like if our bone's supposed to be stacked this way and this guy come over this because you fell, because you had stress in work, in family, that allow for tension to come in the area, toxins to start to release in the body because of the stress, or as we said, trauma thoughts, or the toxin. So the thoughts can be one, or the toxin. So toxin can be from our environment. The toxins can be what we put inside our body. We get these changes that start to happen. So us as chiropractors, we look to align back the spine. Now with this align, your nerves that pass through the area, we're decreasing that interference, right? Because if the nerve was looking to pass through these vertebrae and it just have this hinge on it all the time, you get that irritation. So with that being said, and having your body being aligned, it's also aligning your entire nervous system, right? And it could be the space of your trauma, your toxins, your trauma, your thoughts, or your toxins that allow for those misalignments to happen. right? So for you, it was trauma. For others, it may be toxins. For others, it may just be, you know, as we said, the thoughts, the trauma, or the toxins that come along to allow for a misalignment, which we call a subluxation in chiropractic. In turn, we look to decrease the subluxation that decreases the nerve interference to allow the body to live at its maximum potential.
Wow, that's powerful. You
Yeah.
said thoughts, toxins, and trauma.
Yeah.
It's amazing how you guys are able to make that connection, because one matters just as much as the other.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
So for some, you know, they'll hear, oh, you know, a chiropractor only takes care of somebody who's been, you know, slip or fall, or a car accident, or you know, a sports injury. Sports injury may be for the elevation of your performance because you need your body to be aligned. You know, motor vehicle accident mean your body was in some form of trauma, and it's just in that category of the trauma, right? So we take care of mommy and babies in the office because it's the misalignment of the vertebrae more than the thing that is causing it to happen. So you have multiple things that can cause it to happen. Stress, you're working, you know, the body starts to release hormones that give you nerve interference or give the changes of the ligaments, tissues, and tendons that start to change. We come in to adjust the area, because in that place, you know, there's a medical terminology where we'll use where the body at times goes in the fight or flight, right? So for example, on a given day, if you're outside and you're just walking in the park, our body should be in that relaxed mode when we're doing things that it should be just relaxed. You know, you're chilling, you're walking in the park, you're having a good old time, you know, you're just at ease. Our body should be at ease, dis-ease, just like that all the time. When we have the thoughts, the trauma, and the toxin that allows for nerve interference to happen, our body is literally moving as if a dog is running after us, right? So you're in fight or flight. How do I take care of it? What am I supposed to do? And the body's going to constant. So it may show up as neck pain. It may show up as fatigue. It may show up as I may be having abdominal pain. I may, you know, I'm just so congested. Those things may show up because the body's at dis-ease. It is fighting for you. It is saying, look here, whatever you do, I'm going to take care of you at whatever level I need to. So it stays in this dis-ease, this fight or fly, this reactive position, rather than I'm at ease. I should just be at ease, right? So that's where we come in as chiropractors to decrease the nervous interference through adjustments because of the subluxation that has happened because of your body being out of homeostasis and always in a fight or flight position.
Wow. And I know what you're saying is facts. You know, I believe self-care, the approach to self-care is always from the inside out, right? Dealing with our emotions, our thoughts, our diet, our environment, all of those things. But when you dealt with all of that and you are still not at ease, the body is telling you something else is going on. And for me, this is why I chose chiropractic care, because it seemed like no matter what I did, went to therapy, did it all. The body still cannot go out of ease because the nervous system is still suffering.
It's fighting. It's going to fight for you. When someone get ill and their T cells start to fire, or their immune system start to say, hey, something's going on, I'm going to take care of you. Your body is naturally going to fight for you in a time of crisis, but it should not always be in crisis, right? That's not the way to live. So with chiropractic care, and then people will ask us, you know, do you see babies, or who do you see in chiropractic care? And the short answer is that we see those who have a spine, right? So for example, a baby, you're like, why would a baby get an adjustment? But the baby adjustment is totally different from an adult adjustment, right? And then what happens is that you being a mom, you know, I'm not sure how the birthing process was for you, but at times that can be very traumatic, right? For a baby. You know, you're looking your eyes like, sis, that's a whole nother situation. We got to talk
Listen,
another time. Yes. But
that,
it can be so
yeah,
traumatic,
it is.
right? So the adjustment is totally different. So we don't treat you know, like colic or ear infections and those things, but we allow the body to be aligned so the body can take care of those stressors that are
Right,
happening in the body, right?
right.
So a mommy comes in the office and she's like, I have low back pain because the ligament, tissues, tendon, the abdominals start to suspend because she has a baby there. The body is going through stress. We go in, adjust the area, decrease the nerve interference so the body can flow how it needs to be.
Right. And I
Yeah.
love that beautiful approach, because the typical way that most pain and symptoms, as you were mentioning, are treated is through medication.
Yes.
But we both know that that is only a temporary solution.
That's it.
So I love the fact that chiropractors get directly to the root of the problem. And, you know, like you were saying, just going through the different changes and
Yes.
birthing is not only traumatic for the baby, but it is traumatic
Oh,
for
yeah.
the mom. And so when I think about the changes that my body has gone through, I've carried 4 children. My weight has been up and down. I've endured injuries. I have had overwhelming stress.
Yes.
You know, it all changed and impacted the alignment of my body. And so when we wake up and we just feel like we are overwhelmed by depression or anxiety and different things, you know, that's our nervous system telling us something is out of alignment in the body, and it's connected to the trauma, the thoughts,
Yes.
or the toxins. So I love it.
Absolutely.
I love
And
it.
we are the first line of doctors. I always say to our patients is that, you know, listen to your body because
Right.
it's communicating with you consistently. And while it's communicating with you consistently, it's going to tell you and you're going to tell me, right? And
Yeah.
typically what we do, we show up because we feel pain. Pain is an indicator that something is happening, but most of the times it's probably been happening for a while,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So pain is saying, hey, something's up. It's not something we should ignore. I have this sign in the office that says maybe to go away. It's going to decrease because the body is going to say, hey, let's take this, you know, let's help you out. But we
Yeah.
shouldn't live in a space of constant pain. Headache isn't something that should just be happening all the time, right? That's not a
Right.
quality of life, right? So it's us listening to our body, recognizing what the body is saying, and allow for a space of the root cause to happen. So as you say with, you know, crisis care, because there is a time that your body is in crisis care. So it's not like, you know, if you get in a motor vehicle accident and you got limbs hanging, or you are in a space where it's crisis right now, how do I take it? Like I have high blood pressure, not I do, but it's just a scenario, you
Right.
have high blood pressure and you're in a crisis. Don't like, oh, I'm going to go see my chiropractor because my blood pressure this high, but you know that your medical doctor has already said to you, these things need to happen. We will work with you in order to dis-ease, decrease the
Oh, Dr. Walker.
decrease, and then you come. So it's a succinct system that needs to happen. If
Right.
you already put that body in crisis, I'm gonna need you to see somebody going to take care of you right away, so we don't have a crisis that become further along. But we will work to make sure that we can decrease that interference while you succinctly get off of that crisis position.
Right.
And then in combination, why I say go see your chiropractor and a neuro-based chiropractor, in the sense that, so for example, in our office, we scan your back to see what the body is saying to us. We do that scan to say, I am listening to the body compared to just on a fly. We think this is what's happening with you.
Right.
So, yeah. So with that, I say, it's being in that space because we can't do it by ourselves. It's a team effort.
Okay.
And what that team effort looks like, it may be a recommendation of changing diet, right? that
That's
might need to happen.
right.
It's not like, oh, let me just get adjustments, and my chiropractor said I got a subluxation, let me just get an adjustment and that's it. You may get a recommendation of you need to change such and such.
Right.
You may get a recommendation of you need to go back to your medical doctor. Let's get this out of crisis as we also work to tune you off of the body being able to control what's happening so you can decrease those medications. But we got to take care of crisis, and we got to take care of the big picture of what may be needed in that time while your body is going through that. Yeah, absolutely.
That's powerful. So I want to just make a joke right quick, right? And then I want you to touch briefly on muscle memory, right?
Yes,
There's
yes.
this book out here that's called The Body Keeps Score. But that book was written from a therapist's perspective in terms of, childhood trauma, abuse, and things like that. But in a sense, when you connect it all comes together. The body keeps score. Yes. So Dr. Crystal, who is one of your doctors, by the way, your staff is amazing.
I love them. I have an amazing team. Dr. Amakar, Dr. Brown, they make that system. Yes.
The
absolutely.
environment is amazing. So Dr. Amakar is my personal doctor who's going through this therapy journey with me. And so I had been, telling her my hip was bothering me. And so one day, I guess she was like, you know what, we're going to adjust this hip. And so we made the adjustment. And when I left, I was so energized. She called me a weekend warrior. Because I was running, I was doing things because I had so much energy and I felt so good that hip. But a day or two later, the hip went back. I was like, you know what? And then my husband brought it to my attention. He said, Sierra, the hip has been out of alignment for so long that the muscle literally pulled it back into dysfunction. Yes. And that just blew my mind. I was like, wow. So can we just touch really briefly?
That's a good space to touch in. So people will say, why do I have to see my chiropractor so often, right? Why is there a repetition, especially when I first start off? And if I see my chiropractor, do I have to see them for the rest of my life, right? So let's do the first portion. So weekend warriors, right? Look, I was a track star back in the day, so that's out. And I feel good, so let's go take care of that now. So what happens is because muscle have memory, we desire to do what we typically do, right? And then what happens is that the change that you've been, as your husband said, the change that you've been making for a while, it's a repetition in order to get it back, to undo what has happened, right? So you've made this change because the body is going to do what it needs to do to accommodate you. And it has done that. Wow. And now that you it's like, okay, that's what it's supposed to feel like. That's what it should feel like. So you're like, oh, I remember when that felt good. So that's the repetition. The repetition in adjustments is that we do the adjustment, you go out and live life, and which we have to do because we want to make sure we're still living a quality life. Right. You go out and live life, and then you come back, we send some signals to that area again, you go live life, we send the signals back. It's a repetition until the body says, this is what is supposed to happen. This is now the new normal, right? I'm going to hold that, as we'll say sometimes, now you're holding your adjustments better, right? Because now we take a longer period of time for you to get out of misalignment, because now we're doing a repetition of those adjustments to get the body back to where it needs to be, because it does have memory. I ran track in high school, and every day I feel like I can just go outside and be like, go. But the body is not ready for that, right? So you make the first muscle move, you're like, oh no. And where's that muscle came from? So it's a repetition, just like I have to go to my trainer and say, we work out today, we work out in 2 days, right? We work out thereafter. And when I get to a maintenance portion, as our patient go into wellness, I don't have to see my trainer as much, because now I know what to do, when to do, and I have gotten my body to a position now that I can maintain. Wow. Right? So that's the process. You're getting to wellness so that you can go to maintenance. But when you come in crisis, we have to restructure what you have done for a long period of time, right? Yeah. So that's why there isn't a quick fix. There's a decrease in inflammation. There's a decrease in pain. You say to yourself, oh, I feel better, but the body hasn't changed as yet. So it's working through the processes of changing from what it was before. And that's why you have the repetition, but then you'll decrease. So then the person will say, do I have to go to my chiropractor, forever? Now that you're in a maintenance phase, those adjustment may decrease the amount because now your body knows how to hold this adjustment. Now your body knows how to keep you in a line. Or you'll say, I know when something has changed, something has triggered. So now there's a decrease in the amount of time that you come in because the body has now accommodate muscle memory to the new way of how it needs to be, being back in alignment, right? So when that decreased amount of time come, I always say, when you put on lotion on your skin, do you just stop after you see the change? Your skin all luscious and you're like, oh, I look good. You're like, okay, I'm gonna just stop today. I'm gonna just stop. I'm not gonna put on lotions anymore. No, you don't do that. Right. You maintain by continuing to put on lotion. When you decide that, your dentist is finished with your braces, your teeth look good, do you go back to what was the old thing? No, this looks good. I'm going to make sure I see my dentist as much as I need to see him so nobody mess with this smile. It's that maintenance of what has happened so that you don't go back into what we call crisis again.
Yeah. Wow, that's really, really, really good. And thank you for sharing that.
No,
and
absolutely.
That's such a good point that you made because I was getting overwhelmed and I was like, geez, when is my body gonna act right? And so, when I thought about needing to come in 2 to 3 times a week, at first I was like, man, I don't know if I can do this. But after I got that burst of energy, I was like, listen, I am committed to this process. So I am going to be patient until my body goes into what we call remission and can hold the adjustment. I don't care if I got to show up here 5 days a week, because I need total restoration and I will not stop until that manifests.
But as you say about self-care, we're just in a space where we're reactive compared to, we do reactive care. Oh, something's wrong. I got a headache. My back hurts. All those other things rather than preventative care, right? I don't want to be in that position. So I'm going to make sure I maintain the wellness of what I have before I get to a reactive, right? When we take care of the body will show up for us as it should when it needs to, but it's doing the prevention things, just taking care of our diet. It's the prevention things, making sure that we do look and see what's going on with our spine compared to when we have a crisis, or are we walking crisis right now, but we've accommodated ourselves to it that we don't know that the body is in crisis. I say sometimes to patients, a cancer patient or just to give an analogy, a cancer patient or someone who's having a heart attack, when do they know that's coming? Right?
When it happens. Right.
When it happens. Do you think that's when it developed?
No, not at all. It's been
happening.
It's been there.
Wow. But then the body at some point will say, crisis, help me now. That's your neck pain. That's your back pain. I feel this tension in my head. That's the body saying that something's been happening. I'm just letting you know now that you need to do more than what you've been doing before. So I say, in our office, we do a neuro scan. Come in and get scanned. Find out what the body is saying to you rather than being in, I don't feel no pain. Pain is not what says that pain is saying that we're in crisis now and we need to take care of that.
Wow, that is powerful. You shared so many nuggets and wisdom, just helping us to better understand chiropractic care, because like you said, that's typically the overlooked position because people don't understand how what you guys process is. And like you said, it's not just a quick adjustment. It's not just coming in, but it's getting to the root cause
of what's
of
happening.
how you got where you are. Wow.
Yeah. So as you said, the quick adjustment, just really fast. It's not what you see on Instagram. It's
Right.
not. It's not. It's not what you see on Instagram. It's not what you see on TikTok. It's not just the pressure on your. We take care of like literally changing lives. When I say changing lives, in the sense of somebody coming in with a constant. We have one patient. She was just living with headaches.
Wow.
Right. And sometimes that seemed like, that's what we typically do. So I just take some over the counter. But if you're consistently taking over the counter NSAID, that transition to now your liver function, your kidney function, right? So for her, it was like I was constantly having headaches. I was always having these migraines. But my grandma used to have migraines, so it's not a big deal. It is a big deal, but it travels in my family, so I didn't think it was anything that I need to do something about. If it happens, I know to take this medication, it decreases the pain, and then it come back again if I do such and such. Now, for her, 2 years later, which she's a maintenance patient in our office, a wellness patient in our office, headaches that she's worrying about, right? She's not living with migraine, right? So the change of the quality of life. So here is a grandmother who now gets to, play with her grandchildren. That's quality of life.
Come on, and that's the
quality
goal.
of life.
That's the goal.
It's sitting at a desk for a blank amount of hours, and every time you sit, you just got to change position, or you got to do something because your body's in misalignment, but you're like, I do this all the time, so it's no big deal, but it's your quality of life. It's being able to be able to do more, because I always say we all have a tribe. We all have a tribe. We have someone that we're connected to, that not even a sense of or assignment, but if we are not in our well-being, the mommy who comes in with her child who may be showing signs of anxiety, right? They're going through their puberty, or nervous system is firing. They call it a terrible twos, right? But what happens is that the nervous system is firing at a different level. So it's the adjustment that helps this child to decrease the firing at that time, so that they too can just be at dis-ease. But that's the focus of chiropractic, to make sure at any level of your life, decreasing that fight or flight, having your body in homeostasis, so that you can function effectively at the optimal level, from baby to wise in geriatric. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a quality of life.
That is the goal, to have a quality of life. And I feel like this society that we're in, the times we're in, they talk about, making millions and doing all of these amazing things, and all of that stuff is great. But if you don't feel good, if you do not have a quality of life, none of it really matters to me. But I believe the total opposite. Once we focus on living a quality of life, all those things will come.
Yes.
And so with that being said, I just want you to kind of share more about how you can be contacted, in terms of the office, all of the other things you have going on. You're also an author, you have an organization. Just share with us a little bit about those things.
So absolutely. So Walker Chiropractic and Wellness Center, locally in Miramar here, we're 8844 Miramar Parkway. And online, we are walkerchiropracticfl.com, and all social media, we're Walker Chiro FL. We look to take care of those who fall in those categories, the thoughts, the traumas, and the toxin, from neonate to geriatric. As you shared, Dr. Amakar is your doctor. We all have the specialty in each area, but Dr. Amakar loves mommies and babies, right? And yeah, she does. So we have a technique in the office that we use, or through chiropractic, that's called Webster Technique. And then outside of that, Dr. Brown, who's also in the office, Dr. Brown, she's a sports girl, right? So sports performance is our jam too. But in the trauma area, if you've been in a motor vehicle accident, if you're feeling discomfort in any capacity, we are your team. We have 3 amazing Black female physicians in our office, so we are proud for that. Our team is all African American. One thing that I do stand behind is that our community is the least to reach out for chiropractic care.
Yeah.
And chiropractic care transforms life. So in the essence of other things that I do have a supplement and wellness brand, and that's called My Whole Body, and that is www.myholebody.com. And the reason for that brand itself is that our community is deficient in supplementation, right? It just is what it is, right?
Yeah.
African Americans are the most deficient in vitamin D. So vitamin D is one product that I stand behind.
I got mine.
Yes, yes, and it's so awesome because it's a mint, right?
Yes, and it's a chewable.
It's a chewable mint. Yes, yes. And another one is collagen. I call collagen the WD-40 for the joint. And the reason why I say that is that we don't, we always say black don't crack, right? So it's good for your skin, hair, nails, and joints, but we want to make sure that we're bringing that supplementation to our body, right? To make sure that our joints are lubricated. It's a protein helix that builds our system, and we should make sure that we're having some form of collagen. It's preventative rather than reactive. So those are the things in the healthcare space of making sure. So the brick and mortar with the office is our hands-on, get to us, come to us. We're looking to take care and provide for our community. And then the online brand is so that we can extend beyond our 4 walls, right? So making sure that we can tap into those who are in the space. But if you're in crisis, come, because we'll definitely take care in the space itself. So things other that I do in the community, I do have a nonprofit. It's called the Owen Walker Jr. Foundation. My brother unfortunately passed away 13 years ago from a heart attack. Wow. And with that, we started the organization that does scholarships, taking care of youth in our community. He had a heart attack. We didn't know that, at his 22 years old, heart attack will come up on our family. It was a devastating time, but we wanted to turn that devastation into something that brings joy. So yeah, I am an author. I love to give back. That's where my heart stands, and helping people. So the things that I align with is that just really take care of people. And just as short, I would say, one, thank you again for this platform. We don't pause to say if it's chiropractic, if it's just knowing that we get one body, say we get this temple, one body.
One, yeah.
One. When it's gone, it's just that. So while we're here on earth, living the life that we, thought of, dreamt of, we're still looking to do, take care of that system. Because your health is your wealth. And if you don't take care of you,
who else will?
Invest in your health, right? Yeah. Invest in your health. Sometimes insurance don't do that because it's a reactive care compared to a preventative care. Invest in the one sure thing that you know that you have, and it's your body.
Amen. Yeah. Well, this has been awesome. I am continuing my chiropractic care because I just believe with my heart that is for me the key to live an optimal life and a quality life. And so I'm sticking to it. I encourage you to stick to it. If you live in the Miramar or surrounding areas, go check them out.
Yes.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness Center. It is an experience, y'all. You're not just going in, getting an adjustment like, listen, they're going to scan your body. They're going to get you a whole outline of your posture and the different things that's going on. And it's a whole experience. And I'm so grateful and thankful that I've been able to connect with you and your team. And I know this won't be the last. So
absolutely not.
Thank you. Do you have any last words? And I will be sure to post the website to the office for
Okay.
your supplement line, how our viewers can connect with you and schedule their appointments to come in and see you guys. But are there any last words that you would like to share before we go?
Absolutely. So I will share this directly to you. So once anyone comes to our office, they're just that part of our family and they get treated just like that. So thank you for choosing us to be your chiropractors, right? And then outside of that, just for the general viewers, you have a great platform here. You know, take these nuggets, apply them to yourself, right? Apply them to what can I do to make sure that I instill self-care in some capacity.
Yeah.
How can I start, and how can I grow that, right? So engage in the platform that you have here. As you connect, know that you have this one temple. Your body is what you got. Your health is your wealth, right? We should have good health and be merry. So I encourage you to take small steps, right? You may not be doing anything now, but
Right.
take small steps. If it's a space of prayer or meditation, if it's a space of increasing your water, it's a space of how do I change something in my diet, but take the small steps to take care of you, pour into you, right? So
Yeah.
I just encourage you to do that. And I encourage you to stay connected on the platform so that you can get all the other nuggets to help you along the way.
Yes, yes. Well, we hope that you all have been empowered, energized, educated, and all of those amazing things as we discussed today. And so, again, just thank you for being a part of this platform. For those that may catch the replay, you know, share it with someone that you know or believe could benefit from what we discussed here today. And until our next self-care social, God bless you and have an amazing day.